So these are 100% brand new Easter eggs that have never appeared on this channel before, including secrets hidden in Resident Evil Requiem, Gorebox, Chivalry 2, and more. Basically, if you want new Easter eggs delivered to your subscription feed each and every week, then make sure you're subscribed. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with more Resident Evil Requiem. Now, it's just the one easy to miss detail that I have to share from Requiem today, but it's one of my favourite types of detail in all of video games. You see, at the beginning of the game, Leon will give Grace his hand cannon, which at first seems nice. That is, until you realise he only gives her one bullet. Well, the reason that Leon was so stingy is because the other 5 bullets in the gun were used to save Grace's life.
Hey, over here.
So when Leon saves Grace from the girl, he fires 5 shots from the Requiem, leaving just 1 bullet in the weapon when he passes it to Grace. I love it when the actions in cutscenes are carried over into gameplay, and I can finally rest easy knowing that Leon isn't tight when it comes to dishing out bullets. Now, Poppy Playtime is one of the more popular horror mascot games, and like all horror mascot games, it has loads of world-building secrets hidden away. But I'm going to need a Poppy Playtime expert to explain this one to me. In the prison cell block, you can find this. So it's a lemon that when grabbed says limon, and like I said, I have no idea why. In fact, the only thing that our new lemon friend does say is this. I'm guessing that there is an in-universe reason for lemon, or at least I hope there is, otherwise it's just a really random Easter egg. Now, when developers want to reference Family Guy, there are a lot of memorable moments from the show that they could choose, but they always seem to reference one scene in particular. In the prison yard, this will happen.
Can this help?
So a body is spat out on the floor in a less than graceful manner. Well, how the body lands is a reference to this scene from Family Guy.
Well, I'll be. Yikes!
Like I said, this is a scene that has been referenced a couple of times in video games before, with Daymare Sandcastle and Black Mesa being the first that come to mind. The other cool thing that I noticed when playing Chapter 4 is this. So each time you score a goal, a different sound effect plays. I mean, as a football fan, I'll take what I can get. Now, I play a lot of random games because I think there's a chance they might have Easter eggs. Sometimes this works out, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes I end up playing a game where I enter Donald Trump's secret Batcave. Mr. Donald is a first-person shooter that sees you playing as Donald Trump as you try to save the failing video game industry. Now, I know you're all dying to know how you missed playing what is sure to be a Game of the Year contender. Well, that's because Mr. Donald is not actually out yet, but there is a demo on Steam that you can play right now, and that's where I found some pretty bitchy Easter eggs. The only level in the demo is the Vatican, which has been seized by an unnamed French video game developer, though it's not exactly hard to work out who this mystery developer is. For example, the enemies are dressed in these white robes, and you can even find some of them practicing for their next mission. Well, Assassin's Creed isn't the only Ubisoft series referenced during this level, as inside one of the toilet stalls, you can find this guy. So this is the ever recognisable face of Vaas from Far Cry 3, except he seems to have caught the game industry bug, and instead of telling us the definition of insanity, he wants to tell us about loot boxes. Also, in one of the rooms you can find one of the most sadistic methods of torture imaginable. So some poor person was tied to a chair and was forced to play Far Cry 7. On the nearby chair, you can find a note which explains how difficult this was for them, as they were made to climb towers for 5 hours, which is a reference to the Far Cry series' love of radio tower climbing, before being strong-armed into playing Ubisoft's upcoming releases. I mean, if the full game has this level of snark, it might be worth a playthrough. Now, I knew that when I talked about LEGO Dimensions interactions in the last episode of this series, that there would be loads that I missed. But what I didn't expect was what happens when you spray the Wicked Witch with water.
I'm melting! Melting! Oh, maybe not.
So, just like the Wizard of Oz, spraying the Wicked Witch with water will actually cause her to melt, which I think is really cool. Something else that I think is really cool is what happens when you pair up Cyborg from Teen Titans Go and Marty McFly from Back to the Future.
That's the power! That's the power of love! Man, Marty, you know I am all about those 80s tunes.
So Cyborg was of course referencing the Huey Lewis and the new song The Power of Love, which can be heard in the Back to the Future movies.
That's the power of love!
Now, as a massive Batman fan, it probably doesn't surprise you that I loved the LEGO Batman movie. But even if I wasn't a Dark Knight stan, I'd still like it because the LEGO Batman movie Batman is hilarious. Well, if you take your regular LEGO Batman minifigure and use him in the LEGO Batman movie world, your boring old by-the-book Batman will be replaced by the much more off-the-cuff LEGO Batman movie version. As you might expect, this does lead to some pretty funny dialogue, the first of which can be heard when pairing Bats up with Harley Quinn.
I trust you about as far as I can throw you. Fortunately for me, that's really far because I'm so buff.
The other Batman dialogue can be heard when the Dark Knight reunites with the Man of Steel himself in what has to be my favourite LEGO Dimensions dialogue so far.
Oh, great. Another awkward conversation about how amazing it is that both our moms are called Martha.
So that was of course a reference to the time that Batman and Superman bonded over the fact that they both had mums called Martha in Batman vs Superman.
You're letting him kill Martha!
Why did you say that name?
Now, High on Life 2 isn't afraid of referencing real-world people. I mean, Steve from Minecraft and Susan Sarandon made appearances in the first game, and they even get a mention in the sequel. Well, I found more famous celebrity cameos, but this time they're given a full High on Lifestyle 2 makeover. High on Lifestyle 2.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
On the wall of this penthouse, you can find several pictures of famous celebrities, and the ones that I recognise, or at least I think I do, are Jason Momoa, Robert De Niro, Audrey Hepburn, and maybe Marilyn Monroe, but I have no idea who this is. So if you know, then let me know. So one of these side missions in High on Life 2 sees you take on the role of a taxi driver, which is a pretty common video game side gig. Here's the thing, you don't have a car, so how do you take your passenger from A to B? Well, you use one of these Pokeball things to store your customer, which at first seems like a great idea. That is until you learn that these balls have a limited air supply, and if you don't make it to the destination on time, your passenger will die.
Shit, we didn't make it in time.
I mean, now you're down a customer and you're stuck carrying their dead body around with you. Luckily, if you visit a nearby toilet, you can take care of the passenger.
Oh, God, this toilet is disgusting. Hey, you know what? You might as well throw the dead bodies in there, right?
Now, we've already covered a couple of the random interactions that you can find in High on Life 2. But this next interaction might be the best of the lot. Near the beach, you can find a kissing booth where you can pay 1 peso for 1 kiss, which seems like a bargain. Well, if you're a little too keen and become a repeat customer, this will happen.
Wow, you're a better kisser than I expected. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, another kiss? I guess there's nothing wrong with that. All right, bye now. You really love your kisses, huh? Well, that's probably enough. Have a good day. Okay, 4's a good stopping point. I don't know if you need any more kisses than that. All right, that's it. I'm calling the police. Yeah, I got someone harassing me. I'm just trying to run a kissing booth here and they won't leave me alone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, they're on their way. I hope you're happy. Don't even try it. The cops are on their way here right now. I'd get out of here before the cops show up if I...
This is the cops.
Thank God, officers. That's the culprit.
You're under arrest for stealing too many kisses.
Oh, sorry we broke your limb.
Well, you bothered me and then you killed a bunch of cops. I've got no choice but to close up shop. Now my kid's peroxide squash team won't be able to go to the Nationals. Hope you're happy.
So despite being a paying customer, the alien lady will draw the line at 4 kisses and will call the cops on you. If you handle the cops and then return to the booth, she has no choice but to close it down. Now, I'm not an expert on kissing booths, but it can't be good for business to turn down a paying customer. Okay, so it's a very eager paying customer, but it's a paying customer nonetheless. Now, we haven't covered a new Chivalry 2 Easter egg since way back in January of last year, but one of the game's Easter eggs that I'm sharing today might be one of the best in the entire game. Before that though, let's check out a reference to William Shakespeare. On a couple of different maps, you can find this. So this skull isn't any old skull. This is the skull of Yorick, which is a reference to the dead court jester seen in Hamlet, Shakespeare's famous tragedy. Unfortunately, Yorick doesn't change your remote wheel like the chicken does, but running into battle wielding a skull has to earn some serious style points. So if you're not a fan of fictional skulls, you might be a fan of crabs, and more specifically, crab claws. On the Jewel Yard map, you can find a lever next to this gate, and you need to interact with it 15 times, which can be tough when sword-wielding maniacs are running back and forth. After pulling the lever, head to the nearby tent that I do, where you can find this. So in the tent, you can find a very lost crab, and if you interact with it, you'll equip the crab claws, which look brilliant. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I did find it hard to score kills with the claws, but I am a little rusty. Still, at least I made some people laugh. So Gorebox is another one of those games where you spend a lot of time seeing how much damage you can cause to an NPC. But it's also one of those games where you can find some pretty cool Easter eggs. The first Gorebox Easter egg can be found on the facility map. If you no-clip inside of this container, you can find this. Now, when I first found this little guy, I thought it was a reference to Kenny from South Park, but after hearing what he has to say, I'm not so sure.
What the fuck? Hello, Commander! I'm gonna try smelling fucking salts now! Let me get that shit. Oh shit, this is not gonna be very well. Oh fuck, it fucking stinks!
I mean, I can barely work out what is being said, but I know for sure that ain't my boy Kenny. Perhaps it's a joke that Gorebox fans will know, so if you can explain it, let me know in the comments. The other Gorebox Easter egg is really cool. In your time with Gorebox, you're going to be spawning and deleting a lot of things. But what happens if you spawn something, take a seat on it, and then delete it? So a secret cutscene will trigger that sees your character floating in the endless void. And I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of creepy. So that's it. If you enjoyed this video, then a like is appreciated. If you're a fan of Easter eggs and secrets in games, then make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on so you never miss a video. Be sure to scan the QR code on screen now to get your gamer subs, even if you don't want to pay for them. And to be clear, if you do, I get a small kickback. But even if you don't want to pay, grab yourself some free samples on me. Anyway, as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.